In addition to that, as I mentioned in the opening, I am going to be transitioning over into a traditional art career. It is something that I have been thinking about for a long time. It started off as a whisper, in the back of my mind. Kind of something like, oh, what if you were an artist? And I think it's really funny because I've always been an artist. My very first love, without a doubt, was a pen and a piece of paper, a pencil and a piece of paper, actually, a number two pencil. Probably had lead in it. Anyway, like I would just draw and draw and draw and draw for hours when I was a child. I would draw, I would make comics, I would write books, I would write stories. And funny enough, those are the things that I do now. Like I took a long break. I've been writing for years. Like I picked up the habit of writing maybe back in 2016. I feel like, yeah, maybe me writing, I stopped writing for about like 15 years or so. It may be the same for drawing. I continued my practice of drawing longer than I did writing, but I started writing again before I have started drawing again. But either way, I am wanting to transition into a more traditional art career, like I said, and I don't know where to start. I really don't know where to start. I know that the first thing I'm gonna have to do is like take classes. When I was acting in New York, I knew that the first thing I had to do was learn how to act. So I am going to learn how to draw. And I understand that you can be self-taught and things like that. But eventually I am going to want to go to art school. For me personally, I just would like to immerse myself in an environment where I am learning from experts, not only, but also able to be in an environment and an institution where I guess my art is going to be critiqued and it's going to push me to think critically about the things that I'm making, and also just put me in a situation where I am critiquing other people's art. And I think just like being surrounded by art without having to try too hard, because I think that's the thing for me. Like I'm very much a person that like thrives within structure. It can be rigid, but I think I need some sort of structure to like push me to do the best that I can. So my ultimate plans are going to be are going to be able to receive my master's of fine arts. I My plans right now are to study abroad. I did not get to study abroad when I was in college, when I was in undergrad. So, and I also just want to experience living abroad. I went to Portugal for 2 months last year to kind of scout out the country and see if it's somewhere that me and my daughter could live. It was not, but that just means that I'm still on the hunt. So I feel like, especially for like a country like France, for example. Like France is a country that I'm looking into, London in particular, within the UK or England. And then I'm looking into Germany, particularly Berlin. I don't know too much about the art institutions in Spain, but Barcelona is cute. So we'll see. But I know for a fact that I'm gonna have to do my art degree in Europe, probably, or at the very least in a different country, because graduate degrees in America, who has $120? Not girl, please, $120. $120,000 to spend on a silly little art degree. That is not to delegitimize the degree of art, but let's just be honest. If you're gonna be an artist, it's not like guaranteed money. So to spend over $100,000, okay, that is absurd to me. So I'm just probably gonna take my little self to France and spend maybe $4,000, $8,000 for an English program. You know what I mean? So those are my current plans of what I'm going to do with my career transition. I'm really excited about it. I think that me spending all of my 20s and then a couple of teenage years as well, building up the skill for freelancing, and now like I've just also built up an audience for me to promote my art to. I think that I'm gonna have a much easier time when it comes to transitioning to traditional art, to be able to really dive deep into those topics that I care about. But also, I think it's just going to be a lot easier because I know what to do. I know about survival jobs. I know how to build multiple platforms online. I've built a TikTok. I've built like 4 different YouTubes. I've built a Twitter. I've built a Facebook, multiple Facebooks at that. So like I know exactly what I'm doing. So not only will I be able to leverage those skills that I've built, throughout my 20s to be able to get a good paying job, um, I will be able to fall back on that to have that fund my journey in like learning how to draw and learning how to paint, and because I really don't know exactly which medium I want to work with. I'm leaning towards painting and drawing just because that's what I've always done. I just want to pay attention to what I just do naturally and what I've always done naturally. But I'm open. I'm open to everything. I don't know if I want to do pottery. I don't know if I want to do sculpture. I don't know if I want to do some mixture of like performance. I'm also really excited to incorporate film and do like installations and stuff like that. I don't think that I want to, like, with that being said, I don't think that I want to get like a traditional master's of film, because the film that I would want to do is probably very like experimental and artsy fartsy. I'm not really looking to work in like commercial video production or commercial filmmaking anymore. It's if the opportunity presents itself, like I'm never really one to turn down something if I have like the time and the space to explore it. But ultimately, I just want to be a little artsy fartsy kid. So I'm just a teenage girl in her 30s, okay? But yeah, so that's really what I am looking forward to. My expectations after college, I want to say quickly, taking a 9-year break and coming back to college is so hard. Now I understand why parents and older people at the time were always telling you to kind of just stick through it. I understand maybe taking like a gap year before you start. And life happens and sometimes you have to stop and then you can make your way back or not. It's whatever, your journey is your journey. But I will say it's been incredibly difficult going to school while being a parent and having to work and just like being thrust into, especially because I'm not starting at zero. Like I went to senior courses. So it's a level of, I guess I can't necessarily say that it's rigorous because I have been doing this, right? So like I understand the material and I've been, what am I trying to say? Yeah, like I've been learning throughout my 20s. Like I didn't just like stop learning, okay? So it's not necessarily like the coursework. It's more so like managing everything. Like the time management of it is just like tough. Like having paper after paper after project after project after paper after test. It's hard. It's hard. It's really difficult. And I have to say that I'm very proud of myself for going back and, finishing. Fingers crossed, fingers crossed. So yeah, those are my expectations. We're going to get us a cute little art degree. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do with that yet. I'm really excited for the journey of like moving to another country, becoming fluent in another language. If I move to France or Germany or Spain, I think those skills will, just speaking more languages it's always going to be a helpful skill. And just, I think for me and what's important to me as far as like communicating with people clearly, working in video production, sharing messages and stuff like that and building community. I'm just like really looking forward to that experience and learning how other people think and how other parts of the world were developed and how they work now and different cultural norms and different sayings and things like that. So I'm excited for that, excited to see how that will differ, how the art world in a different country, in a different continent will differ when I come back home to America, where I'll move. Will I move to New York? Will I move to LA? I don't know. Will I stay in Paris if I go to Paris? Who knows? I'm kind of like allowing the universe to communicate with me and like, let the career opportunities unfold in front of my face. So, yeah. So finally, how am I prepping? How am I prepping for this transition into an art career? How am I prepping to get a full 9 to 5? How am I prepping for graduation? And, I want to say going back into the real world, but I'm not on nobody's campus and I'm already working and I'm already a parent. So I'm in the real world, but for the sake of the saying, going back into the real world. Well, like I said, as far as like transitioning into my art degree, I think what's most important for me now is just to find steady income so that I can practice my art. So I am going to be Like I said, getting me a full-time job. Hopefully, we'll see. I'm gonna give me a full-time job. If it doesn't work out, I'll just go back to freelancing. It's really not that big of a deal. I have, like I said, I have all of these skills that I have amassed over the last like 10 years or so. So I have options, which I think is one of the reasons why I'm not as stressed out as I feel like someone who is much younger than me would be, because they wouldn't have as many things to fall back on. Like I have quite a bit of tools in my toolkit, so I don't really have to stress as much as like the average college student. So yeah, I'm just planning on getting me a full-time job. Before I get the full-time job, I'm gonna continue working my survival jobs, doing my content creation, getting paid from that, getting brand deals, and working little odd jobs here until I get my full-time job. The full-time job is gonna be what funds my art career, for me to learn how to draw and stuff like that. If it's remote, which it is gonna be remote, not even if, since it's going to be remote, I'm gonna take that opportunity to travel and take art classes like around the world. And yeah, I think beyond that, I am just really ready to relax. So that is how I am preparing to graduate college. I only have like a few hours of my internship to complete. So I'll probably technically graduate the spring of 2024, but I'm virtually done now. And this is December 2023. So yeah, I am very much looking forward to that. And I am really ready for this next chapter in my life. Okay, wow, I cannot believe that I've been talking for like 20 to 30 minutes. Clearly, I have a lot to look forward to in the future, like I said. And that is both exciting and terrifying because I know I have a loose idea of where I'm going, but I don't know exactly how it's going to play out. But I guess that's life, right? Okay, everyone, thank you so much for watching. If you would like to chime in on this conversation with maybe how your college experience was, how it's going now, maybe like how your college experience was during COVID, because that's not something that I went through. I know my classmates, they were in college during COVID, but they were either in college or in high school, which is bonkers for me to even think about. But yeah, I would love to hear what things were like for you and what your expectations are after college. So please follow us on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram at Ladies with Degrees so that we can keep this conversation going. So thanks again for listening and watching for those of you on YouTube, and be sure to check out our other episodes. All right, that's all I got. Bye.